Hi, you guys, it's Mama Luna, and I wanted to share with you about the 5 rites, which are a series of movements very, very old, and were often talked about as the fountain of youth. So, the man who searched out the lamasery where they did these, well, he's known as Colonel Bradford, but who knows if it's his real name. And his friend, Peter Kelder, is the one that published what he wrote. So here, we'll show you. This is the book, and this is the original manuscript written by the Colonel. Well, and so when it was first put out in 1946, it was on a mimeograph machine. And so the people who wrote this book had learned the 5 rites, because actually they came to the United States. They became sort of popular in the 80s, but a lot of yoga teachers taught them. And so they really made them like yoga. How you do yoga, how would you do it a certain way. But that in fact is not the way you do them. So some people who had great results from doing it wanted to see the original manuscript. They were book people, and so they did a book search all over, and they finally found an original mimeograph transcript in a library in Canada. And so they were going to just like rewrite what he wrote, but then they decided that they would just do it verbatim. So that's what this book is, the verbatim story about these movements. And you'll see that some of them appeared in yoga. You know them as yoga movements, but that was not how they started out. And this colonel, when he worked in India, he learned all the different dialects, so he could really get around. And he went to India after the war, tried to get his friend Peter to go with him, but Peter didn't go. And at that time, he was an older man with a cane. He had lost his hair, and he wasn't getting around so good. So he went to India, and because of his knowledge of the language, was eventually able to get to this lamasery way up. And it's like a valley, way high and almost, in the Indian side of the Himalayas. And when he got there, first thing he noticed, no one was old. And they looked at him and they called him the Ancient One. So, he was like pretty bad shape. So he stayed there for 2 years. And this is what he learned. And by the way, when he came back to see Peter after his journey, Peter had some people over for dinner, and he knocked on the door. And when Peter opened the door, he thought it was Colonel Bradford's son. And he had gotten his hair back. He wasn't limping, and he was in really good shape. So, and then when he came back the other day after Peter's guest had left, he told him the whole story, started teaching some classes in the area where they were, and he wrote this manuscript. And so I'll share with you just a little bit why I was attracted to this. Is a friend of mine, when I was in Trinidad, showed them to me. And the people in the lamasery did these together every day, but everyone closed their eyes. And the idea of these movements is to do whatever's comfortable for you, however easily you can do it, whatever works for you. Do your own breath, and there's not any way that you're supposed to be doing it except for how you do it. And I've done them now, my gosh, I guess 4 years, and it's really changed my movement and my abilities and my comfort with my body. And when I started out, there were some of them I couldn't do. So I will just share a little bit more, and then I'll show you the movements. I suggest that you get the book if you really want to know about it, because it's just so interesting. And he has his original drawings of the movements in here, and he also explains how to do each movement. Okay, so you'll see also, you guys, why I liked the first part of the movement. The first movement is like from the whirling dervishes. It's spinning. So you just close your eyes, spin with your arms out, and you only spin as long as you're not too dizzy when you're starting out. And then when you stop and you open your eyes, and then you do not proceed and do the second one until you no longer feel dizzy. So I've been doing it a while, and so I don't usually get dizzy, but at the beginning it used to make me dizzy. So, and this is just my way of stopping, like the power thing, because he says, do it what's comfortable for you. So it was comfortable for me to stop spinning, but that's not his, just spin and stop. Okay, the second one is you just lie on your back, hands on the floor by your side, and then you figure out how you like breathing yourself. And you just, it's hard to do while I'm talking, okay, but you lift up your legs and your head at the same time, and then put them down. And you know, that's the ideal place where you want to have them up like this, no pointy toes, just like this, and then you bring them back down. And you just, when you're starting out, you just do each movement 3 times. Seriously, when I started this, my neck was so bad, I could barely do it. So, and here's what he said, that we have in our bodies, there are 7 vectors that we have, energy vectors, that we have when we're children, when we're born. And they're not the same as the chakras. A lot of people have called them the chakras. But here's how you know it's not the chakras, because the bottom 2, 1 in each knee. So they're not the same as the chakras. And then they sort of go up like the chakras, back of your head here. It says in the book where they are. But he said then when you get older or you have an accident, one of them may stop spinning as fast as the other ones. And so that's what these movements are for, to activate these energy vectors and get them all going the same speed. Okay, here's the second one. And, okay, so you go up on your knees, and if you like to use a pillow, do it. You want to be comfortable. The idea is to be comfortable. And it's important on this one that you put your toes curved under, so that when you go back, you know, your toes are bent like that. And here's this one. You take a breath, I take a breath. You breathe however you want. And you go, but you exhale air, push it all out, and then go far as forward you can, but not going past your waist, so as far down as you can go. And you put your hands back here, sort of at the lower back here. And then you lean back, and I don't get back very far. The idea is to get back way far, but I could barely only go like this. So here's your movement. That's the second one. You want to do them at your own pace. I've seen videos online where people are going like super fast, and other ones where they're going slow. Now this one, it's easier for me on the wood floor because my feet don't slip. And I'm sure you've seen these things. This will take you forever. So your hands on either side, and you're just sitting up straight, and then you go up like this and down. Okay, that's the third one. No, that's the fourth one. Spinning, then the one where you put your head back. Oh no, where you put your legs out.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do lean back. I'll go through them again in a minute and I won't talk. I think that's the best thing. But I'm just trying to talk about them and give you some idea. And the last one here is like downward dog. That's probably where downward dog came from. This one, same thing, you want your toes curled under. Now what he says to do is be comfortable and do as many as you can. So you start out with 3 and then every week you add 3 more until you get up to 21 and you don't need to do more than 21. Now he says if some you may be able to add on and some you might not be able to do more. So if you can't do as many, like one of them you're up to 6 and this other one you're at 3 still, then later in the day do that one 3 times. You know, just to balance it out. Now, I'll just go through it and not talk. I don't know if you want to stretch or anything, you can in between. And you can, if you can't do some of the movements, you can do something to make it easier for you. Like when I first started, boy, my arms were strong enough. And I mean, I could not lift myself up, you know, and come back down. So I got like a 2 by 6. I had a couple of little pieces of it from construction. So I put one under each hand, and then, you know, then I could get up and get back down. And so that just shows you you can do all kinds of things, just whatever's comfortable. So that's my story about him. And he said, just do it, how you do it. That's why I like it, because I don't like anyone to tell me, you have to put your right leg more this way. What? No, I immediately leave. So that's my personal outlook, and it's really increased my stamina. And so I recommend the 5 rites. And if you, they have this book, The Eye of Revelation, and I got it at Amazon, but they have it a lot of different places, and he talks about each movement in way more detail. And blessings to you guys. Thanks.